Hello everyone, this is Charlie from the Bloomingdale Public Library, and today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Store, mostly because I get the impression that people really don't know what it's about. So what is the Microsoft Store? Well, it's Microsoft's App Store for Windows. Functionally, I'd say it's very similar to Apple's App Store and Google's Play Store, so if you've ever used a phone or tablet running iOS or Android, you're like 90% of the way there. It is a core component of Windows 10 and 11. It cannot be uninstalled through ordinary means, nor should it be in most instances. Now, I get the impression a lot of people think that the store is bloatware and something that they would uninstall when they got around to it, but that's just not really the case. Incidentally, we did try uninstalling the Microsoft Store at the library and quickly ran into unintended consequences and wound up reinstalling it. It is an online application for finding, purchasing, installing, and managing Windows apps, games, and movies. So again, very similar to the App Store and the Play Store. You do need to be connected to the internet to use it. While apps on the store were once restricted to behaving like lockdown mobile apps, this is no longer the case. So part of the reason people consider phones and tablets more secure than the average PC is because of how apps are developed and curated. And with the Microsoft Store, that used to be the case. Applications would have to implement something called the UWP, or Universal Windows Platform. But because of consumer and developer complaints, that's no longer the case. So you will find full-fledged desktop applications on the store now that are not quite as locked down as the average store app. Alright, so there's a couple of ways to open up the Microsoft Store. The quickest and most obvious is probably just clicking on the Microsoft Store app icon in the taskbar. It's this white bag with a Windows logo on it. If you roll over it, it says Microsoft Store. You click on that, it takes you to the Microsoft Store homepage. I'm going to go ahead and X out of that. So in the case that you've removed your store icon, you can also type in Store in the search field in the taskbar. It should come right up. You can also click on the Start menu. And I'm on a Windows 10 computer, but otherwise in Windows 11 it'll probably come up pinned. Otherwise you can click on All Apps, go through the app list, and under M you'll see the Microsoft Store. So when you click on that, again, we're at the Microsoft Store homepage. Now, before I go any further, I want to talk about signing in to the Microsoft Store. So if you're signed into Windows, I believe you're signed into the Microsoft Store by default. Otherwise, the requirement to be signed in to the Microsoft Store to use it has been inconsistent over the course of the years. In my experience, at the time of recording this video, I can open the Microsoft Store, browse it, and install free apps without issue using various versions of Windows 10 and 11 Pro without signing in. If you did want to sign into the store and you weren't already, you just click on this little picture of a guy in the top right corner, click sign in, and it's going to want you to sign in with a Microsoft account. Now, the reason I'm not signing into the store today is because my work account doesn't work. You can't use work accounts or school accounts to sign into the store. So a reason you might want to sign in is to add a form of payment. What you do is go to the account dashboard, go to payment options, and add a new payment method, and there you go. Another reason you might want to be signed in is to sync your apps across your devices. So with that all said, I'm going to continue with the rest of this video without signing in, and so let's see what else we got here. Okay, so the store interface I think is a bit busy and honestly a little bit wonky and slow to react. So if I knew what I was looking for or could at least narrow down my search, I would go ahead and use the search bar up at the top where it says Search, Apps, Games, Movies, and More. So let's say we did want to find Candy Crush. Type in Candy Crush, and you see almost immediately it pulls up results as well as some other suggested searches. You can go ahead and click on the app from here and it'll take you right to the app page. Otherwise, if you wanted to just perform your search, hit enter and it'll do just that. So on your search results page, you have some very general filters up at the top here. You can click those to narrow down your results. You also have another filter button over on the far right here. If you click on this guy, it pulls up some fields that you can search on. Depending what you select, you may get additional fields to search on as well. So you can go ahead and choose some options for your search fields. If you don't like the results you're getting, you can go ahead and click Reset All and go back to the beginning. If you wanted to go back home, just click on the Home tab on the left side here, and there you go. So let's say you were more inclined to go ahead and browse the store. Looks like the focus of the Home tab is primarily what's new and what's popular. And from there, if you scroll down, you see different groupings based on different filters. At the very top, we have what's featured. Of course, Microsoft is going to put their stuff front and center when they can. On the right side, we have ads, which may be personalized depending on your preferences. I personally usually turn all those preferences off. So the groups of apps are all grouped by various filters. You can either browse the groups by using the arrows on the far right side. So you have right and left arrows. Or you can click on the title of the filter itself and it'll pull up another window. And again, this is just like the search results we had before, where we've got a filter button on the right. You can go ahead and click on that, and again, you've got search filters that you can use. Honestly, most of the other tabs look pretty much the same as the Home tab. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Apps tab here. The only real difference is we have this row of filter pages that you can click on. But otherwise, as we scroll down, we just have more groups of apps in various different looks. If you go all the way to the bottom of these pages, you'll also have a collections section as well. If you click on the collections, let's say security apps, sure enough, it'll bring up a page of security apps. Clicking on gaming, again, it's going to look pretty much the same. This will also have that row of search filters below the featured section. Entertainment is primarily movies. And then we have the AI Hub, which is considerably skimpier than the other categories, but it'll definitely fill out over time. This isn't just AI apps, but apps that implement any sort of AI features. So again, you've got Copilot featured because that's a Microsoft product, but as you scroll down, you'll see other options as well. And that is how you go searching for apps in the App Store. Alright, so let's say you are ready to download an app. When you roll over any of the app tiles, you see it brings up a little summary window. You can actually just click Get straight from here, and it'll go ahead and download, then install the app. If you click on the summary page, it'll bring up the full app page, and there's quite a bit more here to look at. So we've got the title, we've got the image, we've got a link to the publisher. We've got the rating out of 5 stars. 4.2 is pretty good, especially considering there's over 200,000 ratings. We've got the category link, a summary, and then of course we've got the Get button again. So the Get button will download, then install the app. If there's a price involved, you'll see the price instead of the word Get. In the case of movies, some will say buy with a certain price and then rent with another. If the app is installed, the Get button will read Open instead. And if there's updates, you'll see an Open button and then an Update button next to that. This little icon here next to the Get button is to share it. So if you click on that, you can either copy the link to use however you like. Otherwise, if you click Share, it opens up a list of apps that you can share the link through to your friends, family, coworkers, whoever. So below that, we've got the age rating, we've got screenshots. I went ahead and clicked on that, and it pulled up this full page slideshow. Some apps might also have videos that play right away. I think that's common with the games category. So description, the ratings and reviews, and on and on and on. It's kind of nice to have the system requirements section where you'll get a green check mark if your system is able to run. Otherwise, you will not get that. Additional product information, a whole bunch of stuff including languages, publisher info, disclaimers. And then on the right side, we've got other similar and related apps. All the way in the far right bottom corner, we have Copilot. So that's what that little symbol is. If you roll over it, it pulls up some conversation topics for Copilot, as well as the ability to compare with the second product. So if I click to select this product, pull up another app page and click the second one, it'll pull up Copilot with both of those apps ready to be compared. So again, clicking on any of these options will actually pull up the Copilot app, which is, if you didn't know, Microsoft's chat AI. So go ahead and click on Tell Me More About This Game. There you go. You see it pulls up Copilot. It says we're not connected. Let's try again. There we go. There's a sign-in button that's kind of cut off by my taskbar. Otherwise, if you wanted to submit the topic, you go ahead and click the up button. See, it says submit message, and you can start a conversation with Copilot regarding the app that you're on, but I think we're going to save that for another day. When you're all done on the app page, you can click on the back button in the top left corner, and you are back to searching for apps. Okay, so it's time to have a look in the lower left corner. When we do, you see there's a couple more tabs here to look at, although this first guy here isn't so much a tab as it is a button. If I click on What's New, it pulls up a pop-up of what's new in the Microsoft Store. So if you're someone that uses the store a lot, or you're just the curious type, go ahead and click on What's New, and you can see what changes are going on in the Microsoft Store. I'm going to X out of that for now. Below that, we have the Downloads and Updates tab, and you see there's a blue dot there to indicate that there are updates ready to install. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And when I do, it pulls up the entire list of installed Windows Store apps. Incidentally, if you have any apps that are in the process of being downloaded and installed, they will also appear here as well. So we've got a Check for Updates button at the top. That will check for updates for all of your installed apps. We've got an Update All, which will go ahead and install the updates that are already downloaded. If you wanted to update the apps individually, you can go ahead and click the update buttons next to each app. If you click on the three dots next to the app, you get a bunch of options. In this case, we only have the option to cancel a download. And if we were to do that, it will actually remove the app from the update list. Otherwise, if you had an app that was in the process of being downloaded or installed, it would cancel that as well. So on this page, you can still click on an app icon, and it will take you to the apps page. And like I mentioned before, if an app is installed and has updates available, you'll see an update button on the app page as well. Otherwise, it's just the same app page that we saw before. So scrolling down, you see some apps will show patch notes to tell you what's in the latest updates. If we keep going down, we will come to the list of apps that do not need updates. In this case, instead of an update button, we have an open button, which will do just that. We also have three dots here, which might have more options. In this case, we can go ahead and share the app just like we did on the app page earlier. We can also have a look at version notes from here. So that's the downloads and update page. Below that we have the library tab, which is actually very similar, except it will show apps that are also uninstalled. In that case, instead of open or update, you'll see a button with a cloud. If you click on the cloud button, it will download and reinstall the app. Otherwise, you can sort through your list with the filters here up at the top. You can also filter manually with the search field. and there is a couple of sorting options to the right of that. So you can sort by date, name, and also check to only show the apps that are installed, which will get rid of everything with the cloud buttons. So if you did uninstall something, this would be where you go to reinstall it. But otherwise, that's all we have for the library tab. Okay, so just a couple more things I'd like to have a look at. The first of those being the list of store settings. To get to those, you click on the profile image in the top right corner, then click on settings. Just to go through these real quick, the first one is automatic app updates. I would typically leave this on if we're talking about a desktop computer that usually stays in the same place and is usually turned on. Otherwise, if we're talking about a laptop that you use intermittently, you might want to consider turning this off. The reason being is it would stink to be using up processing power and Wi-Fi bandwidth and battery updating apps that you're not even using. So something to consider. The next one is notifications for app installations. That just gives you a little pop-up when an app finishes installing. Not a big deal either way. The next two are grayed out because you need to be signed in order to turn them on. The first one is to skip verification when you make purchases in the App Store. Again, it's just a shortcut. And the second one is offline permissions, which is a way of mitigating the use of a license if you have the same app installed on multiple computers. After that, we've got video autoplay. So a lot of app pages have videos that will play once you open the app page. This will turn that off and instead make you have to turn the video on manually. And this can just be a way of helping the store run a little more smoothly and conserving bandwidth. The last one here is personalized experiences, which is what I was talking about earlier, where they try to personalize your store experience with your behavior, and it's something that I almost always turn off. A couple settings I don't see here that might just be for Windows 11 involve installation folders and drives, and that is something I might consider changing if you know you have a smaller primary drive, particularly if you have a desktop. I personally use second and third drives to install apps on to keep my primary drive cleaner and to conserve space. So that is the store settings. One final thing, just because it's come up with me a bunch, is fixing the Microsoft Store app. So if you have issues using the store or updating store apps, you might need to fix your Microsoft Store app. And to do that, what you do is go to Settings, System, System Components, and then in this list here we have the Microsoft Store. We're going to click on that and then click Advanced Options, and this is where we can go ahead and first try to repair the Microsoft Store app, and if that doesn't work, try resetting the Microsoft Store app. And in most cases, that will fix whatever is wrong. So with that, I think we're good for now. I thank you for viewing and hope you have a good day.